Welcome everyone. Going to share this really quick. All right, my name's Erin Murphy. I'm a MOACAC member in Southern Illinois. Welcome everyone tonight to our session. I just want to remind everyone joining us that your mic is off and your camera is off, so you will be listening and learning from our panelists, and you can use the Q&A function tonight for your questions. I also want to remind you that this is being recorded, so if you have to step out or miss, or you're missing another session, you can access the recordings at the MOACAC website, as well as sign up for more sessions for this multi-week event. I think that's all I have, and I'm going to turn it over to our panelists. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for staying up late, which this is probably not late for those who are tuning in with us, to join us for Degrees with Less Debt, a report by St. Louis graduates recognizing the 4 Missouri universities that are presenting tonight. Introductions. I'm going to ask each presenter to wave their hand as I introduce them. Trent Ball with Southeast Missouri State University. I'm Linnell Hahn at Southeast. Alan Bird, University of Missouri St. Louis. Chris Beggs, University of Central Missouri. Drew Griffin, University of Central Missouri. And Joanna Finch, Webster University. And I'm going to turn it over to Trent to get us kicked off.
Thanks, Linnell. St. Louis Graduates is an organization that's been around since 2008-2009. I currently serve as co-chair after Dr. Berg was co-chair of the last group. There are 5 key points to St. Louis Graduates. We're a network of K-12 and higher education, youth-serving nonprofits, businesses, and philanthropic organizations committed to eliminating equity gaps in degree completion for low-income and Pell students. Our mission is to transform lives through post-secondary education equity. Our outcome is student success in post-secondary education is not predicted nor correlated with race or socioeconomic status. We have a student focus. Low-income students, Pell students, and Black students over the next 5 years identify opportunities to better support Latinx students as well. Our financial component is St. Louis Community Foundation. St. Louis Graduates' theory of change is if we challenge higher ed to eliminate racism in institutional policy and practice, we strengthen and support advising. We advocate for elimination of financial gaps. We'll eliminate the equity gaps in degree completion for all Pell students and Black students.
So a college degree continues to be the surest path to social and economic mobility in our society. And right now, 2 out of every 3 jobs in our economy requires an associate's degree or higher. And most of the fastest growing occupations require a 4-year bachelor's degree. Yet the number of students attending college and graduating from college is not on pace with future workforce demands. One of the major reasons why is to the left of this screen. You can see the rising cost of higher education is outpacing our financial aid system. And that's left a lot of families behind, not being able to afford to attend a 4-year college or university. So the main goal of St. Louis Graduates is to eliminate equity gaps in educational attainment for low-income students and students of color. As you can see from this slide, students from wealthy families are 4 times more likely to graduate from college by the age of 24 than their low-income counterparts. And there's also a 16-point gap between African-American adults with a college degree and the overall adult population. Closing these achievement gaps in educational attainment will be vital to meeting the workforce demands of tomorrow and also for eliminating inequities that we currently have in society. So this next slide really shows what Degrees with Less Debt is all about. St. Louis Graduates was not happy with the way colleges were being portrayed in national rankings a few years ago. We felt like the rankings were based too heavily on things such as average ACT scores and the size of campus endowments, and not focused enough on providing access to underrepresented students, more specifically, first-generation students, low-income students, and students of color. So we decided to create our own process for recognizing which institutions were doing the best job of graduating underrepresented students in our region with less college loan debt. This research project became Degrees with Less Debt, and it started with the question which colleges in Missouri and Illinois are enrolling significant percentages of Pell eligible students and Black students and graduating them with less loan debt than predicted. We created a task force and partnered with researchers from the Illinois Education Research Council to produce the first Degrees with Less Debt report in 2016. We identified the top 5 institutions in our region that were graduating students with less debt, and we followed up with interviews on each campus to determine how they did it. And the results of this report led to the formation of the St. Louis Talent Hub, and it now informs the work of our post-secondary equity network. And I encourage you all to check out the Degrees with Less Debt video series. As you can see, our first episode was on July 15th, and our next episode on college affordability will run on September 30th, and the final episode will be on student advocacy on October 21st. So definitely check it out. It's innovative, it's great, and it provides great information about how to make college affordable and what to look for in terms of student services when you arrive on a campus.
Students, you might be wondering, what does this mean for me? Families as well. Well, the schools represented on this call, also listed here, comprise the talent hub that Dr. Bird just mentioned. And the strategies that these schools employed, all of us here representing, were to provide flexible and sufficient financial aid for all students, but particularly those who are low-income students or African American. Just-in-time academic supports. You're going to hear from each school kind of how each has approached this challenge. Summer transition programs and student success learning initiatives.
So in the report, there were 4 themes that emerged that depicted strategies that our institutions were employing to achieve higher graduation rates with less debt. So the first here is it's all about affordability. So our institutions that are represented here are working on programs that really help ensure students are offered generous financial aid support, and that coupled with state and federal grants create an affordable opportunity to obtain a degree. But more than just the opportunity to apply and read through different scholarships and fill out applications, our schools want students to fully understand what their financial responsibilities are, and they take financial literacy seriously. So most of our schools have strong programs that allow students to feel supported by assisting them with financial planning, either through a seminar, a classroom setting, interactive workshop, or an activity. The next one is leadership and advocacy across the institution. So we would not be able to do the work that we do if from the top down our leadership was not committed to the equity issues on each campus and in the community. Our leaders are committed to diversifying from their board of trustees down through their faculty and staff, ensuring that our Black students have role models in higher education that have lived in similar experiences. Our schools are creating specific student networks that provide access to things that are important, such as academic resources, or helping to build a connected environment before even getting started on campus, sometimes through summer programs, mentorship opportunities, and peer leadership programs. The third theme that emerged was completion, curriculum, and supports. So our institutions are providing more professional support services to their students to ensure that they have the resources necessary to complete their education in a timely manner. To hit that 4-year mark, you'll see on different campuses the 15 to graduate, so 15 credit hours each semester. Some even have those services available 24/7. Some schools have increased academic support by creating a large network of people rather than just one individual advisor to ensure that our students feel like they have a team of people to help when they need it. There's also an increase in peer tutoring and online tutoring services as well. Our schools are working on strengthening relationships with community colleges to make the transfer process much smoother, to cut down on potential barriers while also strengthening the onboarding and orientation programs for our transfer students. And lastly, essential needs for a changing student body. So the student population itself is ever changing. And with our country's growing economic issues, it's important that we as universities are recognizing the needs of students and are prepared to adapt to their needs. These are things like food and housing insecurities, so we're creating food pantries and daycares either on campuses or working closely with local community partnerships to do so. Most importantly, and especially within the last 7 months, there's an increased need for mental health services. While some schools are struggling to meet the demand, a lot of the schools in our group here are growing our support services. It goes beyond increased capacity and a campus counseling center though. Peer-led student mental advocacy groups have made a difference to really help struggling students connect with other peers who are experiencing similar concerns. And this really helps reduce the stigma and increase the number of people who are willing to reach out for help. These 4 emerging areas are helping create degrees with less debt, but there's still quite a bit of work to do. However, I can say that each and every one of us are committed to that work.
Excellent. Dr. Bird mentioned earlier, our next video will be coming up on September 30th, and we'll make sure that a link goes out to everyone to check it out. This one's called A is for Affordability. We'll have 4 students from our campuses talking about their experience on our campus with making college affordable. We'll also have leaders from financial aid and student services discussing activities and actions we're taking on our campuses to make sure that an education is affordable for our students at risk.
So before we head to the next slide, there's a couple of questions that have come in through the Q&A. There is a question here, do you guys have help for freshmen with executive functioning disorders too? So are there any of our panelists that can speak to that question?
So at a UCM, of course, the nature of each student is different, but we provide services through a couple of supports right now on campus for students who are challenged with a disability. And those services through our Office of Accessibility Services connect with faculty and the success team, which I'll mention later, to ensure that students have access to the accommodations he or she is afforded, and that the support, the wraparound support, is also extended to the student. And that's something that in the pandemic, we've had to revisit and look at our lines of communication to ensure that students are supported no matter where they are, because not all of them are on campus, certainly not all day. So that's something we take seriously at the University of Central Missouri, and I know our other partner institutions have similar services for students.
I'll follow up with Chris. At Southeast, we have our Center for Behavioral Health and Accessibility that has an office staff with an assistant director and a therapist who work consistently with our students with disabilities, also providing opportunities for students to have accommodations provided, as well as some testing and support for classroom accommodations, as well as working with students who are tutorial services. On our campus currently, tutorial service students who are students with disabilities have first choice for signing up and registering for tutors and assistants.
And similar to UCM and CMO, at University of Missouri St. Louis, we have an Office of Disability Access Services where students can sit down and also parents as well to really develop an individual learning plan. And that will include whatever accommodations they need as a student to assist them in their academic support as well as their social and emotional support. So it's really by appointment where we can sit down and assess the needs of the student and try to come up with a plan that will support them and make sure they're successful on campus.
And of course, it's the same with Webster. I mean, we have a academic resource center that works with our ADA coordinator to provide help with our students with disabilities and obtain all the services they need that meet all of the equal access and opportunity goals set forth. So.
All right, and then we have another question for me to ask the panelists, and that is, when it comes to curriculum within our academic programs, how is equity, access, social justice, discrimination handled within academic programs and educating our students at our universities?
Well, at the University of Missouri St. Louis, we really try to make sure that our curriculum is relevant to not only things that are emerging in our country, but also to make sure that students, we have an inclusive curriculum where all students feel like they see themselves and can relate to what they're learning. So we have an intentional effort to try to integrate those things into our curriculum, and we also try to offer classes around things such as social justice, so students can, if they have an interest in those areas, they can pursue those while they're on path to complete their degree.
Along with sharing with what Dr. Bird shared earlier, at Southeast, we've developed a new division of equity, access, behavioral health, and accessibility. And one of our focuses is going to be taking a direct look at making sure that we are reflective in our curriculum, as well as in program offerings and activities for equity. One of our first steps has really been working with, in 2015, we had our President's Task Force for Diversity Education. We are picking up our report, making sure we've gotten those things actually handled and moving forward. What I'm excited about is we have a new advocacy, equity, and justice scholarship that was established about 6 to 8 months ago, and our first student is going through the process. She will, if awarded the scholarship, become a member of our equity committee, our student government equity board, as well as making decisions about activities we're going to have on campus. So we'll have students involved in making those decisions, approaching the work.
And here at Webster, we're working on our 5th year coming up now on our Diversity and Inclusion Conference. Diversity, inclusion, and equity are built into pretty much everything that we do here in terms of our curriculum. But the conference has grown so much that last year I think there was over 1,000 people, and it's grown into a 3-day event to ensure that we can cover a variety of topics. So it's important to each and every one of our divisions here.
All right, and then I have one more question to ask the panel before we move to the next slide, and that is, if somebody wants to help others with discrimination and mental health issues, what major would you recommend someone majoring in at your universities to work in that type of field?
I'm going to give a brief answer that's going to sound like a cop-out, but I promise you it's not. And that is, I believe in the new economy, there's not a major that will be able to escape or get around the world as it is and the challenges that we're facing. I think that is ever present. I think that's the knowledge of students coming in. All will require those competencies, and all will invite us into that work. The question is whether or not we do so willingly and in an informed way, in ways to actually do help. Now, some will be more explicit than others. I know at UCM we have an entrepreneurship emphasis with ethical leadership, and they pull in these things a little bit more intentionally. But it seems at least to me and to my colleagues at Central Missouri that if we don't prepare graduates for the world as it is with its challenges and opportunities, then we failed as an institution of higher education. So that's my answer.
Any other panelists want to share their perspective on a major that would be good to help others with mental health or discrimination?
I think Chris just hit the nail on the head. It's my opinion. So I think every single major is going to touch on that. I mean, we have some that are in ethics and social justice, but every major is going to, be necessary. So.
I know we're taking a look at Southeast at some of our grad programs as well. There's been conversation with one of our organizational psychologists who I'm going to his class to talk next month about embedding, structuring social justice and activism into some of his courses at that level. So I know that's something we're looking at because we have a pretty robust community counseling program. Now we're looking at org psych, and our CJ program are also giving considerations to how to have coursework preparing our graduate professionals to do the work. So I'm with Chris. I think we're all gonna have to jump into this. We best have to be intentional and strategic about it.
Okay. All right, I was given a minute there just in case any other panelists wanted to share. All right, I know there's a couple more questions that have come in. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next slides that are gonna give an opportunity for each of the 4 universities represented during this presentation to talk more about their university and the opportunities that you would have to enroll, to qualify for scholarships, and to be supported at those institutions. And then once we're finished with those, we'll go back to the Q&A that's coming in through the presentation. So at Southeast Missouri State University, students will have an opportunity to build their resume at the many campuses that we offer enrollment opportunities. So our main campus is in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is the picture that's there in the top right of the slide. We have our main campus and our river campus, which is about a mile apart. The river campus is right there on the banks of the Mississippi River that you can see in that photo. And then we have campuses in Kennett, Missouri, Sikeston, Missouri, a delivery site in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and several completely online degree programs. We want you to, connect to one of our 145 majors that we offer. We also want you to find your flock by getting involved in one of our 200 student organizations. We do have NCAA Division I athletics. We have esports program. You will be a part of a community at Southeast with 18 residence halls and 16 dining facilities on campus. And then we award about $20 million in scholarships annually. And so some of the things that you'll see highlighted on this slide here includes that we are a test optional institution for admission and scholarship opportunities. Our test optional GPA is a 2.75. If no matter what your GPA is or the classes you've taken in high school or even the standardized test score that you may or may not have, we want all students to apply to Southeast to let us holistically review them for admission and connect you to enrollment opportunities at our many campuses. We have no application fee, there's no test scores needed, no essay, and you can self-report your academic record. As far as scholarship opportunities, we have nearly 20 scholarships that you can qualify for as test optional. And one of those includes our Will to Do Award. So eligible Pell Missouri students with a 2.75 GPA can qualify for our Will to Do Award, and they'll pay $0 in tuition and general fees. We have our Copper Dome program where 70% of our incoming freshmen are eligible. We super score the ACT and SAT. We're test optional. It's stackable, progressive values. And I know Trent's going to talk more about support of students through our academic support centers and those scholarships. And then the last plug before I turn it over to him is that we do have ways that you can visit in person and virtually to Southeast. And so some of our visit days are listed there at the bottom of the slide, but you can go to cmo.edu/visit to learn more about visiting campus. All right, Trent, it's yours.
Thanks, Adele. I'll be quick. Through academic support centers, we have our tutorial services through learning assistance programs, which currently has 60 learning assistants covering 100 different courses across campus, as well as our certified supplemental instruction program. All services are free to students, and currently we are booking approximately 200 appointments per week. Within academic support centers, we also have our 3 award programs. We have our College Access Partnership Award, which means if you participated with a college access program, a TRIO program, a scholarship foundation, we will match that award up to $1,500 along with the textbook scholarship, making it worth approximately $2,000. That's another program, as I mentioned earlier, that is test optional. We have our academic support center merit program and our matching program. Our merit program is at a 3.25, test optional, for students who are coming in receiving scholarships that are also stackable through our Copper Dome scholarships. Our matching award looks at our students who are Pell eligible or bringing in outside scholarships. The merit goes up to 2,400, the matching goes up to 2,000. So our goal is to make sure that our students have opportunities to have awards with awards with them that can match our Copper Dome. So for example, right now, one of our matching students who is College Access Partnership Award student is receiving a $1,000 Copper Dome, $1,500 matching, $1,000 Cap A, so you can stack the awards. So right now, his awards, which were test optional, of course, total over $3,500 plus the textbook award, because we run our textbook at Southeast. So we want to make sure that what's key to me is the stackable piece, that you're not going to have awards being supplanted, they will stack together. I think one of the keys also is our leadership development program that goes along with academic support centers. I always like to say that our students get a chance to be both scholars and leaders in our programs. Thanks, Anil.
Thank you, Trent. All right, University of Central Missouri.
All right, thanks, Linnell. So the University of Central Missouri, we are a mid-sized public institution located in the Kansas City area. Our main campus, which is in Warrensburg, Missouri, a great college town, about 45 minutes from the Kansas City metro area. We also offer classes in Lee's Summit, which is a KC suburb, as well as online. So there's definitely some options for you, whatever you prefer in terms of how you learn. We've got some programs for you. We do offer over 150 academic programs. We started out as a teacher's college, but we've grown since then. And so some of our top majors, education, we are a powerhouse when it comes to education majors. Nursing is stellar. Business is great. Criminal justice, criminology, we're definitely highly ranked for that. And then aviation, professional pilot, airport management and maintenance. Those are some big programs for us at UCM. We do offer a lot of ways for you to get involved. You don't just want to go to class and go home and do homework. You want to get involved and make the most of your college experience. And you'll find that in over 200 clubs and organizations that we offer. We are NCAA Division II. And so definitely if you are gifted athletically, definitely get involved in one of our sports, but there's also intramural sports as well. Definitely getting involved is important for you for support, both just social and academic. And in terms of academic support, every student, once they're admitted to UCM, is assigned a success team. And I'm gonna let Chris Beggs talk about that here on the next slide, but every student has a success team moving forward and are supported from day one. We are test optional. We started test optional this year for fall 2020, and it worked very well for us. And we had switched just a little bit to a 3.25 GPA. So students with a 3.25 or higher do not need to submit an ACT or SAT test score. In addition, students who are test optional also get a $1,000 red and black scholarship, and that stacks on top of other scholarships and financial aid they may receive. And we do offer a very lucrative financial aid packages with other scholarships and aid for both in-state and out-of-state students. So definitely we make it affordable. We make sure that students are supported, again, academically, socially, and financially. And at this point, I'll turn it over to Chris Beggs to talk a little bit more about our academic support services.
All right, everybody, put that TikTok down. You're not going to want to miss these 4 points. We believe in providing opportunity and action at UCM. That's the promise we make. That's the commitment we make to students like you. Because of that, as Drew mentioned, every student has a dedicated success team. If you're a first-year student coming to UCM, in our freshman seminar class, you'll be paired with a peer mentor. This person is there to help support you as you go on this journey. We like to think of them as guides. These are students who are a little bit further along than you, who have been through the first year, have successfully navigated it. They've built some good habits. They're going to be there to support you. But that's not it. Our advising model is proactive. We don't wait for students to come see us. We reach out to them. We know the points of the semester that students will struggle. And we have success coaches that are student employees who support the work of advising to make sure you have access to any level of advising support that you may need, from just needing to change the schedule because the class time doesn't work for you, to something deeper, changing your major, rethinking the internship timeline. You'll never be alone at UCM. That's a promise. We've designed it that way. We, at all the institutions here on the call, believe in a professional support staff at each of these universities. What that means, folks, is the folks that we have working to support you in the opportunity that you'll have at our institutions are from people that choose to do this work. They're trained, they're credentialed, their mission, their work is finding ways to support and create opportunities of access, progress, success for students just like you. We take it really seriously. We know the opportunities and challenge that come with being a student in Missouri in 2020. And we're always looking for ways to remove barriers so that the opportunity that you have is a real one that you sense, one that you seize, and one that you get support, and you're not alone. Similar to SEMO, we have a Learning Commons that provides services both in person and online, tutoring in over 100 courses, a writing center that's traditional both in person and online. We also have supplemental instruction that's very popular with students. We understand in those pre-professional programs that sometimes you need more support after that class ends. Maybe you just sat through a 50-minute lecture and you don't know what you just heard. I can tell you for our nursing students, those anatomy and physiology supplemental instruction classes are always packed. And with technology like Zoom, we're able to blow up that attendance to make sure you get the support where you need. And something kind of new on the scene that I want to make sure I highlight for my colleagues who aren't able to be on the call is our new Center for Multiculturalism and Inclusivity. Students asked for this at UCM, calling back to one of the attendees' questions, what are we doing to address issues of justice and inclusivity on campus? Students asked for this, and the leadership responded by creating and enfranchising a center within our student union that is essentially student-run, with a faculty facilitator and advisor to elevate and lift and center the voices of students in the ongoing conversation of the university, to address the challenges, to look at some of the historic ways that we've missed the mark, and invite us as an institution to come back and do something meaningful for the students that we have, and be responsive that way. And to be quite honest with you, to be held accountable. And so I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about that. And one more program before we move on. One we're really proud of is our Central Summer Academy. And if you're a new student thinking about UCM, you're looking at some of the programs Drew mentioned. Let's say you're a first generation student, or a student who's low income, or a student from a group of people historically underserved by universities. We have a program that you can come and take a part of in the summer that you'll earn 7 credit hours. You'll live on campus. You'll have co-curricular and extracurricular supports and experiences. Room and board, we pay for everything, folks, including tuition. We're looking for a couple dozen students to bring in this summer. We're about to launch the app, look for it. It's something really special that we take the time to provide a special support experience for students that we want to see more of, not just coming to UCM, but graduating, being engaged alumni, and making a contribution in society. That's the opportunity that we're excited about at UCM, and I hope that you look for that Central Summer Academy.
All right, everyone. So the University of Missouri St. Louis is a large metropolitan research institution with approximately 16,000 students. We currently offer 54 undergraduate programs, 35 master programs, and 14 PhD programs. Several of our programs are nationally recognized, including our criminology and criminal justice, international business, and clinical psychology. But in terms of the main thing I want to focus on today is our true commitment to college access, affordability, and student success. So in terms of access, like the other institutions, we do have a test optional admission policy for fall 2021. If you decide to take the test optional route, you will have to provide a personal statement, and you will need a 3.0 core GPA in order to qualify for the test optional evaluation. Now, our merit scholarships at the University of Missouri St. Louis start with a 24 ACT and a 3.0 GPA. However, if you decide to apply test optional, scholarships start at a 3.5 GPA or higher. Also, with our commitment to affordability, we offer an UMSL grant that supplements the Pell Grant. So if you are a student who feels you may qualify for the Pell Grant, make sure you complete your FAFSA by February 1st, which is our priority deadline, and that will ensure that you get the UMSL grant at UMSL. And we also waive application fees for all students who qualify for free or reduced lunch, or if you participate in any college access program, including TRIO, College Bound, Wyman, and any of our other community partners. For the most part, UMSL has the lowest net cost in the state of Missouri. So if you're looking for a quality education at an affordable price, our net cost is below $10,000, and our students borrow well below the national average in terms of debt at graduation. And right now we have 90% job placement within 6 months of graduation with an average starting salary of $45,000. So we definitely feel like you get a strong return on your investment at the University of Missouri St. Louis.
All right. So Webster is over 100 years old and has 2,500 undergraduate students with about 800 residential, and the remaining are commuters. For fall 2021, we've gone test optional, and this was decided pre-COVID, so this is not something that'll be going away. We have no application fee, and we accept the Common App and the College Coalition application as well. All applications are reviewed holistically, and merit scholarships are automatically awarded as students are admitted without having to apply separately. However, we do have some scholarship programs that do require an additional application, and those are for our stackable scholarships and full tuition scholarships. We have a brand new scholarship that was just introduced this year for our first year college students who live in North St. Louis County or the city of St. Louis and have financial need. So students who meet the requirements will have an additional $2,500 stacked onto their already awarded merit-based scholarships that range from $12,000 to $18,000 each year. The other notable scholarship that grew this year, our SUG scholarship program. And this is for students from ethnic groups that are typically underrepresented in higher education. So last year we awarded 2 $20,000 scholarships, and this year I'm excited because we were able to award 10 full tuition scholarships, and those are like $28,500. So that was an exciting achievement this year. As I mentioned earlier, we're working towards our 5th year of our large-scale diversity conference. But rather than waiting to just have one event a year, we've now created a bi-weekly speaker series live that's streamed with our Chief Diversity Officer. And we represent prominent voices from the wider community. So we've had Michael McMillan, the CEO of Urban League, the Honorable Ella Jones from Ferguson. Last week was Jackie Joyner-Kersey, and there's a plethora of more that are coming up. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, you can definitely log on to the Webster Speaks. We've also started a new program called RISE, and this is a leadership mentorship program for our students of color with the goal of providing enhanced support throughout the year. They've even created a barbershop in our basement, so I know they can't wait for COVID to end so they can get back to hanging out there on Saturday mornings. We have about 8 campuses around the world, and we have a huge study abroad program. One of the more notable trips was our students who were in the Africana Studies class. Our chancellor was able to provide a scholarship to these students so that they could take a week-long immersive trip to Ghana in the year of their return, which was an amazing experience. But we offer these different opportunities for either a semester or a week, 2 weeks, or throughout the summer for students to participate. We fly you there for free and back for free, and it's included with your financial aid and all of that. So it's a neat experience for students to be able to participate in. We do have webinar visits, our virtual visits open, and we are looking to open our on-campus visits in about 2 weeks. So if you would like to check us out, please visit our website at webster.edu/visit.
All right. Thank you to everyone for sharing more about their university opportunities for students to enroll there. With that, that was our last slide. So I'm going to pull our Contact Us slide back up, and you can see all of our email addresses are listed here. If there's someone that you want to connect with directly after tonight, please feel free to reach out to us. I encourage you to take a screenshot of this slide so you have all of our direct contact information. And we do have about 5 minutes left that we can take some more Q&A. So I encourage you to submit questions within the Q&A and we will answer those. There were a couple that did come through already, and I know that some of our presenters have responded directly back with private answers, but I think it might be good for others to hear these same questions and answers as well. So the first one is, what colleges do you consider most affordable? I mean, clearly these 4 colleges represented here about degrees with less debt, right? Well, all joking aside, you know, it's important to make sure that you do your research. And even though you may see, you know, the price of that university as maybe sticker shock sometimes, you have to keep into consideration that there's financial aid opportunities, there's scholarship opportunities as well. So make sure that you consider that before you make your final decision on what you view as affordable for you, because each university may have a different financial aid package that they can offer you in relation to what their cost of attendance is, that's in black and white on their website. So keep that in mind. Any other panelists that want to speak to colleges and their affordability?
Well, I'll just say that sometimes I think students believe that private college is just completely out of reach. And I always look at, like you said, look at the bottom line cost, because I've seen that a lot of private colleges offer much more scholarship opportunity as well. So you definitely want to weigh those cost and scholarship opportunities back and forth. So.
There was a question that came through related to, if you receive a scholarship at a college, can you take it to a different school? So for scholarships that are awarded directly from a university, those are typically scholarships that can only be used at that institution. But private scholarships that you may receive through, applying through your school counselor's office, or some of the like FastWeb, some of those scholarship search engines. Of course, Bright Flight within the state of Missouri, those are scholarships that can be used at the institution that you choose to enroll at. But those that are awarded directly from the university you've applied to, those typically can only be used at that institution. All right, we do have questions related to specific academic programs that are coming through. We only have 2 minutes left, so I know we can't answer everyone's questions. Let's see. So a question here, someone looking to go into nonprofit work, a question related to a good major for nonprofit work.
Well, I mean, that's one of those areas where you can really almost major in anything. I mean, you can major in business. I mean, you can major in various things that still work in the nonprofit sector. But there are some campuses, including ours at the University of Missouri St. Louis, where we have a certificate program in nonprofit management. So again, you can major in anything and you can still get that certificate to prepare you to work in a nonprofit sector. Also, there's plenty of internships as well. So ample opportunity. The key is, again, I encourage you to Talk to an academic advisor to get an idea of what would pair with the type of nonprofit you want to work for, and then try to get a certificate or something to go on top of it to just solidify your experience and your skills in that area. But an internship is going to be key as well.
So questions that you all have on here about specific academic majors and what's the best institution for you to enroll at, I definitely encourage you to do your research on university websites. I can tell that affordability is very important to you all. So just with that, it looks like our time is up. So thanks for joining us tonight related to degrees with less debt. And thanks to all the panelists.
Thank you all. You did a great job. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.